Hello, this is Amy from paperandspool.com, and I'm here today to show you through my December Daily 2017 foundation pages. So the kits that I bought this year were the Paisley Press 2017 mini kit. I rebought the 2016 Paisley Press mini kit as well, and I also purchased the Gossamer Blue Christmas bundle. As Lori was starting to ramp down all of her kits, she offered a Christmas bundle, and I purchased that for a really reasonable price and got some awesome product. I'm not going to be using a lot of that because it was really bright and colorful and it didn't fit exactly into my idea for this year, but there were a few really great pieces from that bundle as well. In addition to those things, so the Gossamer Blue Christmas package, the Paisley Press 2017 mini kit, I also designed quite a few of my own cards. You can purchase those in my Etsy shop along with some new sets of flair for this year. I didn't make a new kit for this year because honestly, I don't even know how I made a kit last year. I really didn't have the time to go through and do that again this year. So I just have the digital files available for the cards and a few new sets of flair in my Etsy shop. So here's my opening title page. I've got the December 2017 rubber piece from the Paisley Press mini. This wood grain transparency is actually Bella Boulevard. Anytime I see a transparency during the year, I just snatch it up because I know I want them for December daily. So I purchased that on scrapbook.com a couple of months ago with this project in mind, and it ended up working really well into my plan. So my plan for this year is to do a mostly black and white album in terms of the cards and what I add in with pops of really bright red. And so I have a few extra page protectors in here as well. These are Heidi Swapp for Michaels. I bought those at Michaels. They're embossed with a little dot. I loved the chipboard set this year, so I got that. This is one from my set of cards that you can download in my shop. The number 2 here is Studio Calico. I think Young at Heart was the kit that came in. Again from mine. This 3 is a funny story. I actually just threw it in the page protector thinking I would eventually like turn it upright and do something cool with it. But I'm really loving it sideways, and it fills this page protector or this pocket so nicely that I think I might just leave it sideways. And it's growing on me is what's happening here. So you can see some of that white and black with the really bright red. So not a burgundy red, but a really bright red. This transparency is from Allie in her handwriting. It's gold. It's kind of a fun one. Here I've got a number 4, and nothing's adhered yet. I'll adhere as I go through on the days because I do like to move around quite a bit. But this 4 is from Felicity Jane. She had a bunch of chipboard numbers, and it was just, I think, a 0 to 9 set. But anytime I see good numbers through the year, I snatch them up because I know I'm going to want them for this project. And then the little trees transparency. This one's available in my cards. So are both of these. Some really old chipboard there. The little wood numbers from Allie's, I think, 2014 kit, which I bought 2 of, so I've got lots of those little numbers. I love this transparency I like how it's going off the edge. I think that's kind of a fun look. And then here you can see I've got a mostly empty page protector, but the letters to spell out 6. And I want to do that on like a big photo and put the 6 around there or something like that. So that's just ready to go. All of this is pretty flexible for me. I got in the habit last year of if something didn't feel right, I switched it out right away until it did. Here I put the number on a half transparency, and this was a Studio Calico, I think with the Brimfield kit, these stars. And it's the last I had of this transparency, so I just wanted to make it work for this project because it's so good for December. Sometimes I have something like this, like our favorite holiday recipe next to cookies and milk, and I'm planning on documenting a cookie, and I'll put it on day 7. It doesn't mean it's going to happen on December 7, but that's where it's going to go. So I do a little bit of like pre-work, and even if I end up doing my big Christmas baking day in November, I'll take those photos and have them ready to go in here. So kind of working ahead or in advance. I'm not tied to the number being the date necessarily, but more like a countdown or like an advent calendar of one special thing per day. So I organized my supplies a little bit differently this year. I have a big recollections bin of a whole bunch of Christmas stuff, and it's like multicolored, and there's green and pink and blue and all kinds of stuff. And then when I decided what I wanted my design aesthetic to be for this album, what I did is I went through that bucket. This one's the old Paisley Press kit, and this one's the new. The quality of the cards this year is just amazing. And I had one of those left. This alphabet actually matches my vision for this album really perfectly. So I still have a couple of letters left from that too. I might use those. So as I went through that bucket and I pulled stuff out that I knew would fit into the theme or idea that I had, I put those in a separate tray that I can carry around the house with me to work on it. So in that tray, I've got a bunch of like the little wood items and some cork and little stickers and the chipboard and any other cards. I did keep most of the cards from the current kit in there so that I can take out or add or anything like that. But I think that it's a lot less product, and I felt that last year I over embellished a little bit. I spent a lot of time on every page, and I could have approached it a little bit simpler. So I'm gonna try and do that this year. Of course, the best intentions, right? You start with the best of intentions. Here's, this is a really old piece from I think the 2014 December Daily Main kit that I painted half white, half black. I wrecked it a little bit with the tape as I taped it off. And then I put the gold washi tape up the side, mostly because I had, oh, sorry about the siren. We live right down the street from a fire station, so we get sirens by the house all the time. But I had messed up the holes on this one, so I just washi taped it, repunched it, and got it. I had it about a 1/4 inch off, so now it's fixed and in the correct position. And so this one, what I did, you can see here probably, I just put a white stripe transparency behind. And it doesn't look that fancy from the back. It, in fact, looks pretty plain. But I've noticed as I go back, even if I have a page that's kind of half completed in my old albums, it doesn't bother me too much. So I don't mind this look of looking at the back of stuff because I love this view and all these little things, and that's okay to me. It may not be okay to you, and that's fine too. If you have to finish both sides, I understand that as well. And then this could be where I put some photos for day 10. I had a whole set of these. They were like Nutcracker style tags. This is the last one I have. I've used them for a couple years in a row here, so I've got the little mouse. One of the problems with buying the kit and the cards being so great is that when you have a two-sided card, you're like, which side do I use? So I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to use the red and white side or the black and white side, or if I'm going to really try to see if I can be careful with it and use both sides. So we'll see how that goes. Last year, I loved this piece so much, but it was kind of like the white unicorn or the white stag that you're really kind of afraid of. And I didn't end up even putting it in my album, so I'm determined to get it in this year. So I tossed that in there as well. It's like, it has to be good, it has to be perfect, and then you end up not even using it, which is not at all the route I want to go with things. This one's available in my digital download as well. This is a bit of an inside joke. My husband often, it's a song that he likes to listen to, but he often just like says lyrics like in a normal voice, and it's like, Merry Christmas to you. And it's kind of funny, and my son started doing it as well now, and it's cute. These tags were from the 2015 Ali Edwards main kit, and I love them so much. Every year I'm down to like, okay, gotta use those numbers because that's what I have left. This was a similar idea to what Ali had done last year, and I actually made these tags last year and didn't end up using them. I didn't get my family to sit down and write in them, and then my album was so full that I thought I would save them till this year. So I've got one for Max, Kristen, our nanny, who's lived with us in the past and is like part of the family, myself, and then my husband, and we can just write on the backs or something and add those in. And then what I did is I just put this little chipboard piece, Traditions, and I thought maybe we could talk about what traditions we love about Christmas or the traditions that we do together. So I just did a blanket stitch on the edge here with baker's twine. I did punch holes with my 1/8 of an inch hole punch first because getting a needle through 2 layers of transparency is really, really difficult. So I just punched a little hole and did that, and I like the little bit of red that it brings. Dear Santa, I haven't really decided yet what Max and I are gonna do in terms of Santa letters, so that could be an option there. And it was the right color. This was from the Gossamer Blue Christmas kit, these really fantastic blocked numbers, which are so cool. This is probably the last physical piece that I have left from the Jasmine Jones 2015 kit. I did buy the digital of that kit though, so I can always print off more because it was such a good kit. And just, I often do this. I put the pieces that I know I want to use in somewhere, even if I don't think I'm going to use it there. I want to make sure I use that at some point. And sometimes in your stash, things can get lost. And then some of the numbers from last year's kit. These numbers I adhered onto transparency, kind of like I had done with the 7 earlier in. This transparency was from Ali in the transparency bundle. And then you can see here a few extra page protectors, and I didn't fill as full as I did for foundation pages last year because I did end up moving quite a bit around last year. And I didn't want to get too tied down to things. Traditions, that's a good one. Noel, what a lovely, oh, Liz Tamina has such a lovely script. And again, extra page protectors. Here I can see myself probably filling this up with like sequins or like the little stars. Last year in the 2016 Paisley Press kit, there was some nice little star confetti kind of thing. This transparency I think was a beautiful mess. Maybe in a messy box. I could be wrong about that. This you will recognize from my last year foundation pages. I didn't end up using it last year. I did something else for 20 instead. But I really loved the look of the white numbers on the red card. So it was still in my bucket. And that's why I like to keep my Christmas stash, even if it's something that I'm not going to use for this year. I may end up using it next year. So I'm going to keep that separate from the day-to-day walking around stuff that I'm planning on using this year. These little houses, how adorable. And the trees, so cute. And then the gold transparency. This is also from Ali's set. 21. Now this 21 and I think the 12 and the 13 way back were actually from a pink paisley set a few years ago, maybe 2014 or 2013 or something like that was available in stores. And I just cut them down. They were 4x4. I think they were meant to do like a little 4x4 countdown thing, and I cut them down to 3x4. And they provide a nice variety. They were all black and white, which was fun, which matched with what I was trying to do. This is a kind of a funny story. This 22 here, it's kind of a fabric. It's like a velvet paper, and I cut them with my Silhouette Cameo because I was looking at the numbers in the shop, and I'd already spent my budget for December Daily in the shop during the first selection period. And it's such a double-edged sword that the selection period is open for so long because you keep going back and adding stuff, and I know that's certainly how I operate. But I can't remember, did the black numbers sell out? Or I was looking at those black numbers and I thought I could probably make something like that. And so this was a $3 sheet at Michael's, and then I just cut it out, and I ended up being able to fit 2 different sets of numbers. So I have this font and a really skinny one. And then it's probably a good thing I didn't spend the larger amount of money on the other ones because I had so many numbers already that I haven't even been putting them in here in advance. But this fabric one, sorry, I meant to say, I'll probably sew it on or something like that because it's really cool texture, that velvet texture, and it would be a shame to have that stuck in a pocket that you can't feel it. So I want to somehow adhere that on the outside, but I'm not going to commit to how until I get to that day. Very happy everything. What a great little card. Here was something from the chipboard bundle. It was the piece with like the really gray background, and most of those chipboard pieces were not my personal style. So I've set them aside and I'll probably pass them along to somebody else. But I did really like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because that's good for making like a holiday list or these little tiny 2x2 pockets. So I did punch those out. Sorry, whoever gets that from me because it's missing those 5 because I want to use them. And then the 23 there. This is a cut file from Paisley Press that you can get in her store at the Lilypad, thelilypad.com. And I've had this, I think, since my first one, since I did my 2014 December Daily. And just very nice. I love the little peek through effect and then a little tree. I can't believe I did the rose gold edging and the bright gold tree because that's very unlike me. I usually like my metals to match, so if I do silver, I keep it silver. If I do gold, I keep it gold. So there you go, mixing your metals, and you'll never see me do that again. In fact, it may change, you never know. A rubber piece from last year's kit. Some pages from the logbook made it in here. I have the really old logbook from the year that it was a bonus item when you purchased the main kit. So, and I haven't even used half of it. So I'm just stapling on some ribbons, making them fun, and again, I'm not 100% sure how I'll use this. I might put a photo on the bottom or write or cover that up with washi tape or something cool or add a little embellishment. But I'm giving myself the space to make those decisions later on too. And some more empty page protectors. This was just a little bag. I thought I could slip something in there that I got in the Studio Calico mega sale. And these bags, for some reason, are difficult to find in Canada. Like, I haven't seen many that I like here. Maybe there's something that's a little bit more popular in the States, or you guys are more into party planning and matchy supplies. I couldn't say. But I thought that was kind of a fun thing, and it was in my bright red. So I have a few more of those as well if I want to include something more like that. This transparency was also a beautiful mess. In a messy box. And then this was one of the pieces from the Gossamer Blue chipboard set that I got in that bundle, and it's so beautiful. And it was by Liz Paisley Press as well, so it really gels well with the rest of the supplies that I have here. This piece I've had for years and years now and just never really got around to using it, so I made sure to put it in the pocket right away this year because I did want to use it. I love the kind of look of like that cut off letter on the side, like squishing it in to make it fit. And it was just such a great material to add into some of like these cozy materials that I'm putting into my album this year. So that was cool as well. And then for the 25th year, the only thing I had was that holiday cheer, thinking I might want to use that. Now, at the back, I keep a bunch of extra page protectors. So these are just, I think, the ones that came with the album, nothing much more. I did purchase a full extra set of the 6x8 and the 3x4 so that I can use those throughout the album. The 4 3x4s is one of my most commonly used page protectors, as well as the 6x8. So knowing that I like to, those are kind of like my go-to size, I wanted to make sure I had some extras of those. So that's what I did. I'll probably have a blog post in the next couple of days too, just showing my little tray with my supplies, my walking around supplies I've been calling it, and what I've got in there, so you can have a look out for that. But that's what my foundation pages are looking like, and we're actually headed out. We won't be around for a little while, or I certainly won't have time to craft for a little while. So this is likely going to stay very similar to what you see here now, right up until December 1st when I start working more actively on filling the pockets. I am planning on blogging daily, so you can head over to paperandspool.com, and down at the bottom in the footer I have you can enter your email to be updated when I post on the blog, so you can get that delivered directly to your email inbox. And I would love for you to follow along with me this year. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm at Paper and Spool on Instagram, and I will be sharing daily there as well. So daily on my blog and on Instagram as we go through the month of December, like I did last year. A lot of people have been asking me if I'm going to do process videos. I'm really still on the fence about that. I'm not sure if I'll be doing process videos or not. I may try to do one or two. I definitely won't be videoing daily. I live in northern Canada, and it's really hard to get the good light here to video. And so we'll see how that goes. I may try to do a few, but I can't guarantee anything on that end. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you back in here in December. Thanks.